myself, I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Auditing Insanity Watch Party. I'm Jim Finch, and that's Verbo. How you doing, Verbo? And you're muted, Verbo.
Well, hello. I am alive and present. So we're going to say that's a win.
That's always a good thing. Good morning, everybody. I'm alive, too, even though I'm not feeling great, and it took me all day to get the damn newspaper out. So, yeah, I'm just thankful that Pants says he's going to be on the All-Star panel to be our All-Star distraction tonight. So,
Ooh.
Yay. The Pants should be back in town. We've got a lot on this one tonight. The only thing I'm warning everybody is that I have coverage of the first Turtle Boy hearing. I do not have coverage on the second Turtle Boy hearing on this thing. I think I mentioned it because the second Turtle Boy hearing was going on as I was recording this. And obviously, Chili wasn't out of jail yet. Chili may be out of jail. Maybe. We don't know. Nobody knows. There was there was a short released earlier that he says that he was still in jail, yet he's not listed in the jail system. So maybe he's getting out, maybe not. Who the hell knows? And let's see, before we go into the... And hello, Facebook Karen.
Hello, Karen. I think I saw a community post maybe on Chili's that says, like, yes, I am out. Something or other. It's like one or two lines.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure he'll be going live at some time tonight. He won't shut him up. That's just one of those God blessed things. So, folks, we got some announcements in this newscast, so let's just start playing first, and then we'll interrupt to talk about the news stories. And please spread the word that we're actually on the air tonight. Even though the storms are about to come in, we are actually on the air tonight. Yes. I'm excited, aren't I? Or it's just the cold syrup. I don't know. One of the two.
Don't look into it too deeply. Soldier forward.
Jim Finch's Auditing Insanity newscast was filmed before a live studio audience of cats. Good morning and welcome to the third edition of the Auditing Insanity newscast. I'm Jim Finch and I'll be your host as we cover stories on Regan Benson, Karen Reed, the GoFundMe take from Wednesday, and of course, Jose Chili DeCastro. Well, I'm a bit under the weather today with severe congestion and squirrel! I'm going to take you through the latest news, and hopefully we'll get through this without anyone breaking a nose, a toe, or any parts of our bodies that could be exposed to fire from our good friend Hank's army of squirrels, raccoons, and skunks that can take anyone out without a second thought. We may also have updates on the news stories we're waiting for, including Jose Chile DeCastro's release from the Clark County Detention Center and updates on Aiden Turtleboy Kearney's hearing in his felony witness intimidation case. Send my apologies in advance as I squirrel through one of these news stories. I bet you can't guess which one as we jump into... GoFundMe, DeCastro fails to capitalize on victory. On a day that saw the entire world go into shock over Jose Chile DeCastro's victory in a Las Vegas appeals court, our own ongoing expenses fund took the GoFundMe title with a $10 donation. The donation, of course, was part of the continuing conspiracy to keep me writing this column. It really had no bearing on anything else, just a continued vendetta by a supporter who makes sure that the torture continues every day with a single donation to keep me fat and happy. And, of course, to prevent the 7 goose eggs in a row that would be required for me to retire this column. That kind of strangeness and devotion is something apparently missing from the life of Jose Chile DeCastro and others as, on perhaps the biggest day of the year for the auditing world, DeCastro's huge victory in court establishing brand new guidelines for auditors, no one gives a crap about him enough to throw $5 at him to keep the faith alive. DeCastro needs the money, so this should have been a gimme of a victory. His name was out there on every reaction channel on emergency live streams. Michael Eline's vertical stream last night saw DeCastro's channel get 161,142 views as of press time to 376 comments and 1,400 likes, yet all that exposure didn't see any money go to his GoFundMe campaigns. Switching gears, expect DeCastro's return to continue the pattern of boosts from vertical live streams on his channel. Even Regan Benson's recent live stream saw a dramatic leap in the number of viewers she was able to capture in her most recent streams, as YouTube is now only giving mobile device users on Android the option to vertically live stream from their phones. With the tremendous boost in viewership from the vertical format, it is also possible to vertically live stream from the popular StreamYard software, and Adobe Premiere Pro now supports the format with templates built into the software. As YouTube has committed to the format with most of our viewers using mobile phones while on the go or at work, we will be experimenting with the vertical format starting on Friday's live watch party for the nightly edition of the Auditing Insanity Newscast. We will also be experimenting with releasing versions of our news stories as vertical lives starting Saturday, which should begin to show up in the live tab of our YouTube channel. All content in this format will not just be the widestream content squished as other channels do it. We'll be specifically rendering a format that works natively in the vertical format. The vertical streams will also be limited to one host and one guest. Multiple guest lives seem to be horrible experiences in the squished format, so we may experiment with it sometime in the future, but not now. Which is why our panel shows and the daily Auditing Insanity Newscast will remain in widescreen format, as the content is better suited to that format. We know that there's a lot of negative feedback to the use of vertical streaming. However, the use of the vertical live format for selected content should be a better experience for those on mobile phones, as any content we share in the format will be designed for that experience. And frankly, as a growing channel, the added work is a risk we need to take if we're ever going to get to the point of monetization. If YouTube is crazy enough to double and triple our viewership just by using the format, we'd be dumb if we didn't get into the trend, as we're in major need of expansion. As always, if you'd like to keep us reporting news stories every day, we do have a GoFundMe listed in the scroll that's going by right now. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on reallycoolsite.org. Okay, feedback on that one. If they're going to give us subs, we're going to do this show and this show only as the vertical streaming. I mean, it'd be nuts not to at least try it a couple of times, see if it works. What do you think?
I think variety. I think variety is a great way to hit a bunch of different items on the algorithm, it's going to get pushed out to a larger audience. And especially, as some of this stuff is more mainstream, like Reed was mainstream, and Chili is on the fringes of what could be mainstream. I think that it's a great way to bring in a different audience that just isn't in this little corner of the internet at all. And that's needed.
Yeah, frankly, we're close. We're 124 away from level 1 monetization. If we can get just a couple more people, just get some of that moving, I would hope that we get to that pretty quickly. I would hope it brings in some subs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And also, because I'll be producing content, I'll be re-encoding the content specifically in the vertical streaming format. I can then also distribute the content in that format without having to mess with it too much over onto TikTok, over onto Instagram, Facebook stories. There's a number of things that use the same format to give us more exposure. So hopefully it's one of the things that is going to be successful in the future. We'll try it. If everybody hates it, we'll go back to this format. But just these shows and just copies of the stories will be uploaded in their own thing as vertical streams. We will still be providing a wide stream format, just like the one you're seeing now, for the actual Auditing Insanity file and all the news segments that I upload every night. So, yeah. Anyway, let's hop back in since we're killing the audience. And yeah, I've got a DeCastro Release. What's next? Jose Chili DeCastro's release from a jail on Thursday has left a lot of questions and concerns from the 1A auditing community as reactions continue to the stunning verdict. On Wednesday, Judge Michelle Levitt overturned DeCastro's convictions of obstructing an officer and interfering in a traffic stop from his March 2023 arrest in Las Vegas. Judge Levitt said that DeCastro had the right to film police on First Amendment grounds as her ruling to overturn the verdict. Levitt apparently was concerned that DeCastro was not properly told how far back the arresting officer wanted him to stand. She also threw out the interference charge as the officer let the driver involved in the traffic stop go, which ended the possibility of the interference charge as there was nothing for DeCastro to interfere in. Essentially, when the officer let the driver go, there was no more traffic stop, and he couldn't arrest DeCastro for interfering in something that no longer happened. Does this mean that DeCastro has carte blanche to walk through crime scenes, interrupt arrests, or anything else he has claimed the right to do as his superpowers for being a journalist? No, it does not. All crimes about interference and traffic stops are still in the books. All laws involving the press and access to crime scenes are in effect. DeCastro can't be stopped from filming interactions with police and public, but he must abide by the same rules as the normal press in the process. As far as citizen DeCastro and everyone else, there must be an active stop, and DeCastro and everyone else must clearly be given legal commands and the opportunity to obey the commands before arrest. There are no changes to that. As long as the cops play fair, DeCastro and everyone else must play under the same rules. DeCastro, from what we can tell, leaves jail deeply in debt. He is more than likely not going to prevail in the ongoing lawsuit against the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, where he's asking for $5 million. The judge in that case has already said that the officer in the March arrest, contrary to Judge Levitt's ruling, had probable cause to arrest DeCastro and dismissed the claim with prejudice. The claims in the case are now essentially down to the excessive force claim, which DeCastro has yet to show any proof of his injuries or that the LVMPD indeed used excessive force. Getting a payout from the state is improbable at best. That leaves GoFundMe, private donors, super chats, and campaigning for money. In the short term, unless he notes otherwise, he owes for lawyers in his second criminal case set for August, his criminal case in Maryland set for September, his civil case against the LVMP with Michael Mee, the contract he agreed to pay Press with Ranker's lawyer, the contract he agreed agreed to pay with Wanda Meese's lawyer, his lawyer in the civil case against Kate Peter, and the sanctions he owes Michael Blue Bacon Paratini in the same case. Trifold and cop card sales may not be enough to make up the difference. He's going to have to go big with donors and expand his YouTube presence in order to make up for what he owes. As far as retribution, he's already promised multiple lawsuits against everyone involved in the arrest and conviction. He already is suing the LVMPD in federal court. I'd personally expect a state-level lawsuit against them and Officer Bork for false arrest. Malicious prosecution will probably be filed against the prosecutor in the case as well. He's already promised multiple lawsuits against Justice of the Peace Ann Zimmerman and the Clark County Detention Center, and it's just a matter of time before we see him go after them, along with retribution against his enemies on YouTube. But he has to get out first. His first YouTube video, expected for tonight, will set the stage for what is to come and how far he'll need to go to get back on his feet. Giddy up. Okay, on that one, we need confirmation that he's out. I do realize there may be a statement on his community page. I just clicked over there yet, so let me click over there now, since I'm being lazy. What do you think of Chili's new rules?
I think he's going to be absolutely inseparable. He's going to push the boundary of everything, and I feel like because of the position that he's put himself in and the success he feels that he's, achieved here, he's going to put himself in a more dangerous situation, unfortunately. And I don't think it's going to end up the way that he wants it to, with the butterfly effect of what he has wrought.
And he's got all this money that he owes. He did raise something like 50 grand. I didn't look at the numbers. In fact, let me pull up the numbers. And yes, there is a short saying on Chili's account that he is indeed out. We're just waiting to see if he'll do a live tonight. So Chili, let's see. His GoFundMe's, he raised $20,722 on one, $26,950 on another, and $2,315 on the third. So that's that's pretty much 50 grand. If you do the math right,
I vaguely remember it was about 60 something grand that everything kind of totals up to, so he's really not that far off.
Actually, no, that was before all of the new cases were added. So remember, he's got the new lawyer in the Blue Bacon case, which is going to be a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
That's got true. The new lawyer in the Maryland case to defend him against all of those the Colin stuff. So the Colin Campbell's Chili's facing 3 years in prison. Stuff. Yeah, he's facing 3 years in prison for those charges. So that's going to be big. The lawyer in the second case, that's the second that he'll be on trial for next month. That's factored in. Plus he owes Blue Bacon, let's see, $5,000 plus $1,600, so 6,000 something.
Right. 65 years. Okay. It's like 45 and 50 or something.
And there's gonna be a second 45 hearing coming up. So he could be out 10 grand in that case. He's gonna need money he's gonna need money quickly. Well,
I mean, he's out. He's going to be doing a stream tonight, and I'm sure that there's some of his followers, sycophants, whatever you want to call them, that would only donate or purchase directly from him. So, I'm sure tonight's going to be on and popping, to be honest.
Fonda says he could start selling Avon or Amway.
Ooh. Yeah, he seems more like an Amway kind of guy to me.
No, with the amount of makeup he wears, he could be, just maybe.
You know, I did used to actually use a Avon product. It was called Dual Coverage. It was for like people with like burn scars, really bad acne scars and stuff. It was like a high coverage oil based product that Avon made. They don't make it anymore, but that's what I would have used on his face. So you do have a point. Oh, Mary Kay.
A-
Yeah, it was Mary Kay. Mrs. Tom is right. Mary Kay.
And NCR, yes, you can do if you want to do that. Thank you. That would help us out a great deal if you spread us around. Spread us around. We are, last check was 124 away from level 1 monetization. We picked up quite a few people in the past week. We've switched to 4K for all of our videos, and that's been opening doors like crazy. So hopefully, just hopefully, we'll get
Yeah,
a little bit more play and things will pick up. But
you
yeah,
really
we're
stepped
coming.
up your game. Really stepped up your game on the production value and like the assets that you've been putting into it. I'm really proud of where you have the channel as far as production value is. We just need to get the audience here so you can keep
Yeah,
stepping the channel up.
yeah. Well, let's jump back in. We've got three more of these to go.
Oh,
And yes, I have to shorten these. Karen Reed continues media manipulation. Karen Reed's legal defense team continued their manipulation of the public on Wednesday as they announced that a fourth juror had come forward to state that the jury had decided that Reed was not guilty of second-degree murder, but that the decision was not included in the verdict for the trial. Technically, even if it were true, the case resulted in a hung jury and was not included in the official verdict, so it shouldn't count. However, as the Commonwealth has announced that they'll be retrying Reed on all three of the charges, her defense team is pushing for dropping the two charges that they claim the jury acquitted her on. In a media blitz that started with articles on TMZ and Fox News to support their filing, the defense has started a campaign to sway public opinion that Reed is somehow experiencing double jeopardy, as she was found innocent on the charges by the jury, though these decisions were not included in the verdict. The defense has also offered no proof or affidavits from the jurors that they claim to have talked to, nor have any of the jurors stepped forward to make the same allegations to the press. However, the word-of-mouth campaign has been apparently carefully constructed to both spread the rumor and taint the juror pool in the upcoming trial. This is because the notion that Reed is innocent, because the jury said so, has some power to it. The power was on display during the press conference after Aiden Turtleboy Kearney's latest court hearing for charges that he violated a protection order against an ex-girlfriend on Thursday. Kearney released the following statement on Twitter before the hearing. Just a reminder that today I have court in Dedham District at 9, then across the street at Superior at 2. There's no buffer zone and the courtroom is open to the public. This morning's a hearing about the violation of the restraining order with a fake victim. This afternoon is the 10 witness intimidation felonies with the Proctors and McDalberts. A Rule 17 motion has been filed for the phones, and I expect a spicy bradle today. Hope to see some turtle riders there. Remember, this is only happening to me because of my activism and journalism, exposing corruption in the state police and Norfolk County DA's office. Both Kearney and his attorney Tim Bradle referenced the Karen Reed case multiple times during the press conference and said that the protection order was used to hinder his free speech in covering the Karen Reed case. The men then addressed the jurors coming forward, with Bradle insisting that the jury be allowed to come forward as a group and render their supposed decision that Reed was innocent of second-degree murder. Kearney insisted that his charges of witness intimidation were also hampering his freedom to report on the Karen Reed trial. He vowed that he would be found innocent of the charges of witness intimidation, picketing, and conspiracy. Today's hearing for the alleged protective order violation resulted in another continuance. Kearney has a pretrial hearing for the witness intimidation, conspiracy, and picketing charges later this day. Okay, not going to stick around on this one for too long. The second hearing also resulted in a continuance. It was quite spicy, though. I'll have the full news on that tomorrow.
All right.
It's Turtle Boy. Turtle Boy. What do you
Yeah,
think?
it was. I feel like the only time you have a verdict in a trial is when a jury comes back with a verdict on a verdict sheet that's properly filled out, signed, and attested to. Like there's a reason why there's a main juror that deals with all of that, and the judge goes back and speaks to them and stuff afterwards, and all of those formalities were completed. So I don't
Right.
understand how we can have a wishy-washy verdict after the fact when it is no longer ethical to recall that jury in to have another discussion. It's
Oh,
just
Bradle. Go ahead.
it's just a
Brad.
non-starter. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, Bradle knew better, but he's still saying, yeah, let's bring the jury back and have them render a decision 2 weeks later. Yeah.
No,
So she can't be
no,
retried.
it's not how any of this works, and I don't understand why that's even being spoken to. Like I get
Right.
that the appeal, we should all expect that. That's a normal part of a defense. There's nothing weird there, but it's all just a bunch of nonsense that's in it, and that's disappointing to see. Some just
Well, they're just trying
fantastical
to.
nonsense.
It's the same BS that they pulled the last time. They're trying to get the story out there, and they're going to go with the jury found her innocent. That's their story. And that's to sway public opinion, and that's to sway the new jury that's coming in.
Which is funny because innocent really isn't even like a legal concept. It's not guilty. Factually innocent is like a different definition. It's like the thing that they're pushing for is nebulous to begin with, as far as like a legal definition is concerned. I
Right.
don't know, and it's upsetting and it's disappointing to see professionals present this type of argument.
Okay, let's jump to the next story. Oh, this one is Benson. This one's insane, folks. Benson verbally assaults internal affairs officer. YouTuber and activist Regan Benson live streamed from various spots in Inglewood, Colorado Tuesday night as part of her ongoing campaign to monitor Inglewood's police force. Benson returned to Inglewood to continue her patrols and monitoring of the Inglewood police force. Benson claims that the entire force is corrupt, and she has wished that all of the remaining police officials quit when current police chief Sam Watson retires later this summer. In her Tuesday live stream, Benson drove through the city of Inglewood while addressing her live stream, attempting to monitor the comings and goings of police officers. At one point, she stopped to question an officer about a traffic accident. After insulting the officer by stating the infraction he was ticketing the driver for was only an infraction because the officer was on the scene, the officer explained that the driver crossed 3 lanes and hit another vehicle, and it was an infraction regardless of police presence. Benson left the officer to go to the Inglewood Police Department, where she asked her chat if 2 people would step forward to monitor the 2 entrances to the police parking lot. The YouTuber indicated that she would have people stationed at the entrances in apparent 4-hour shifts to monitor the police's use of turn signals and the speed of officers coming out of and going into the lot. This continues Benson's unofficial monitoring of the Inglewood Police Department's use of turn signals, speed, and obeying the rules of the road. This included an incident during the live stream where she said, but did not show on video, a police car tore out of the parking lot, speeding through a parking sign and exceeding the speed limit at high speeds. The live stream then focused on Benson's attempts to get information about an incident where a woman took off her clothes on a city street after encountering Benson, and another incident where an apparent juvenile was tased Monday night in Inglewood. Benson went inside the Inglewood Police Department and filed information requests for information about both incidents. After receiving information about the woman who was disrobed, Benson sat down and became agitated as the officer on the scene described Benson as a self-reported First Amendment auditor in her report. The report claimed that the woman said she was having a panic attack based on the interaction with Benson, and the woman was taken from the scene to avoid the presence of Benson. After the woman was found to have an outstanding warrant, she was taken into custody. Benson claimed that the officer who wrote the report was lying about the incident and demanded both a complaint form and to speak with an internal affairs officer in order to make a complaint about the report. When an internal affairs officer arrived in the lobby, Benson berated the man as he did not follow up on her previous complaint, as he said he was distracted by work after determining that the officer involved in the complaint did not violate police policy. Benson screamed at the man that he was too busy to do his job and should be fired. She then told the man that he needed to bring someone else out to take her complaint because she was no longer interested in interacting with the officer. The officer informed her that there was no one else available to take the complaint, which enraged her further, and she screamed profanities at the man as he wished her a nice day and walked away. A bystander in the lobby made the mistake of stating that Benson was acting inappropriately and could have handled the interaction in a more adult way. This brought a barrage of insults towards the man until the man left the building, Benson following him out, and she ended the broadcast after a lengthy statement on the matter from her car. Yeah. She's literally recruiting people to sit outside. She's trying to get them to sit outside the station to write down the comings and goings of police.
Okay. Idea. Most mid-size places that have a fleet of vehicles have some sort of fleet services, GPS monitoring. It records when you stopped, how many stops, everything, your miles per hour, your breakage, all of that stuff. It's all recorded, nice tidy metrics, right? So one, if I was her, I would inquire if they had fleet services GPS monitoring. If they don't, then I would petition for them to get it, because then you can requisition those records, compile them into some sort of data set that makes sense, and when you want to go bitch and complain, you can just hand over the metrics and say, definitively, per these metrics that you provided to me, the police officers are, not following local street rules and regulations or whatever. And maybe someone will actually listen to you. Not a videotape of you screeching at an officer as he tries to get away from you because you are crazy and weird and a threat.
Yeah. Like, she also released the video, which we didn't cover, of the kid who had been tased before she got there, who was resisting arrest. He complained of pains in his chest, so the ambulance showed up on the scene to take him away. She was filming him, even though he was trying to shield his face a bit, saying it was for his protection.
Oh, yeah, she does that. She does that.
Yeah.
Or just discounts the unhoused when they, they'll ask her not to film, and she's like, no, it's for you. Like,
yes.
Am I not a grown adult who can choose whether or not I think this is beneficial for me, and I don't think this is beneficial for me? Clearly, they make a lot of decisions that are radical at that point in their life.
Yeah.
That's not an unheard concept to them. So perhaps you should, heed their decisions. They've made some strong ones to be in the position that they're at.
Okay, this next article we're going to take on is our flashback to last year. And I'm going to hold in the surprise, but last year on this day was a very bad day for Jose Chili DeCastro.
Ooh.
Any second now. Yes, I got to fix
Flashback to July 11th, 2023. Case dismissed.
Jose Chile DeCastro suffered a massive defeat on Tuesday as his federal copyright infringement lawsuit against Kate Peter, Josh Abrams, 50 John Doe creators, 25 YouTube John Doe workers, and Google YouTube itself was dismissed by Judge Allison D. Burroughs. In a ruling released a little after 1 p.m. on Tuesday, Judge Burroughs granted individual motions to dismiss the case made by Peter, Abrams, and YouTube/Google. In her ruling, Burroughs indicated that DeCastro, among other deficiencies, failed to meet the basic requirement of any copyright case, registering a work with the Copyright Office before filing suit. DeCastro had claimed that his registration of a single video that had been published on YouTube as part of a broadcast by Kate Peter, but never on his own channel, was enough to meet the requirement for the case against YouTube. The homeless activist argued that since the filing was made between the time the lawsuit was amended to become a copyright infringement case and his actual addition of YouTube in the lawsuit should be allowed to proceed. Even if the point had gone in his favor, the court also found that DeCastro, now a trademark of several of his federal lawsuits, failed to actually state a claim against any of the defendants. Judge Burroughs wrote, "Because the court finds that the complaint should be dismissed for failure to comply with the applicable statutory formalities of 411, it need not decide whether plaintiff adequately pled a claim for copyright infringement. In any event, the court notes that the plaintiff's complaints do little more than generally allege that defendants copied his videos. For example, plaintiff does not cite, identify, or describe a single instance of the alleged copying that would allow the court to infer that defendants' copying of the materials was so extensive that it rendered the infringing and copyrighted works substantially similar." The case originated as a defamation and harassment lawsuit last fall, as DeCastro alleged that Peter and Abrams had violated and abused and defamed him in a series of incidents during the summer and fall of 2022. DeCastro dropped the defamation and harassment charges, later to refile a similar lawsuit against Peter in California State Superior Court in November of 2022. DeCastro's pivot apparently was in order to fulfill his belief that YouTube would accept a general federal lawsuit against a number of John Doe defendants as a substitute for individual lawsuits against YouTube creators who he felt had unfairly used his original material. He continues to assert this belief to this day and has used it as a means to have YouTube temporarily suspend channels from such creators as Irish Demon, Team Skeptic, and Dogtective. It is unclear as to the future of DeCastro's multiple YouTube channels, as DeCastro has issued hundreds of false copyright strikes against creators since December, openly abusing YouTube's copyright system and allegedly avoiding punishment for his actions due to his ongoing lawsuit against Google/YouTube. DeCastro had some measure of relief on Tuesday, as the judge also dismissed counterclaims made by Peter and Abrams. The judge ruling, "The court finds that neither Abrams nor Peter have established that it is not a legal certainty that the claim involves less than $75,000. See Anderson 57F 4th at 15-16. Because Abrams and Peter have failed to plead sufficient facts to establish that the court has subject matter jurisdiction, the claims must be dismissed." Whoops. Well, we missed my wrap-up, but that's okay. As I have a cat climbing all over me right now, Miss Cecilia Marie decided to join the fun and hit Daddy's keyboard, so... Oh, well, it's still there. Wait, there we go. I can get it back. Anyway, 1 year anniversary of his first big loss. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's funny that it's based also on one of our favorite videos, Chili just failing to be able to use a hammer. It was fantastic, and one of the best things to come out of the whole Chiliverse was that video.
Yeah. And then he went and got the damn stapler, and he didn't know how to use that either. So...
And he got like the most expensive stapler as well. It's like the premium Stanley Chrome. Like, you can't get a more expensive stapler when he bought that at the hardware store.
Right.
I think it's like, ridiculous, because he's a ridiculous man. You know, $1 hammer, a dollar store hammer was too complicated for him. But a $50 stapler is still too complicated for him.
Aye. Well, let's let past Jim take us out, as he's got a couple of things to say. Then the closing credits. There is no after credit scenes, folks, so if you want to run, you can run. I just didn't have time today. So thank you, Verbo, for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
And let's go to past Jim and take us out of here.
All right. See you guys later.
Well, we don't have a lot to say about what happened with DeCastro's trial yesterday, other than the case seemed to be decided before it was argued. Our opinion seemed to be that Judge Levitt was not listening to the prosecution and was ready to rule without hearing from either party. That would be normal for others to do and would be normal for us to bitch at those people for making those type of statements. Instead, we'll leave those comments out there as our opinion and leave them where they lie. Reminder that we have an all-star panel tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, hopefully featuring the return of the man known as Pants. We're looking forward to be spinning in our chair, distracted by cold medicine, as he takes over the role as chief petty person on our operation. Sink, demand the torpedoes! All is well! All is well! We'll be back tomorrow with our lackluster attempts at vertically streaming, screaming, scheming, whatever. We'll see you then. Future Jim here. We are aware that Chile DeCastro has released a post-jail statement, and we also have the results of Kearney's second court hearing. We will cover those in the newspaper tomorrow morning. We're such a tease.